Okay, well, here we are. Welcome.
Welcome, fans and followers.
Hey, Julie and I have not been on in a couple of weeks. It's been a busy February for both of us. How are you, Julie?
I'm good.
I'm gorgeous.
Good.
I'm loving your dress.
Thank you.
I want to see you there. You look beautiful. Yes, 50 going on 30. It's a mindset.
Not a number.
And we have a lot to talk about today. It's almost the end of February. And in honor of that, the last vestiges of Valentine's Day month, I am wearing my bright red sweater because I am just blown away by how quickly this year is going.
It's gone by so fast.
Absolutely.
I know that everything seems like a blur, but somehow, even though we've been at home for quite a bit of time, I run out of time during the day.
I know, Julie's very busy. She's a busy gal, as I am with our other professions, if you will.
Yes.
So today we want to focus on how to stay on track when it comes to our New Year's resolution.
Because when you get busy, it's really easy to lose sight of your goals and get bogged down by the day-to-day to-dos.
Absolutely. And it's important to stay motivated with not only our personal exercise programs and eating correctly, but also what we want to talk about is how important it is to take pause, baby steps, and not rush through life. Okay, so we want to talk about that. And the first thing, Julie, I want to bring up is a very, very famous quote by a man by the name of a very famous author, Dale Carnegie. And he has a famous quote, and that quote is, "Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday." And I'm going to repeat that because I love this quote. Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. Now, what that means for me and what it resonates, how it resonates for me, I tend to worry. I'm a worrier. I'm high strung. I'm restless. And it's all about worry. It's like for me anyway, I can spend so much time trying to figure out what I need to do tomorrow, what happened yesterday. And in the meantime, I'm not in the moment, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to when we're working on our goals to stay present and be present.
It is very important to stay present because tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So you wouldn't want to spend your time looking back and saying, "Oh, I spent a lot of time worrying."
Right.
Because how productive is that?
Exactly.
Worry doesn't accomplish things.
Right.
It just creates tension and anxiety.
Well, let's talk about ways to not worry. Now, what I like to do, and again, we can talk about logistics for a minute here, doing that to-do list the night before you go to bed.
It's very helpful.
It's so helpful because if you write it out like after you do your dishes or
before you go to bed.
Exactly.
When you're winding down.
When you're winding down, I jot down what I have to do and I let it go.
And don't overplan because that creates anxiety. That's my issue is I overplan, and I'm kind of a perfectionist about certain things, not everything. And so if I overplan, then I'm frustrated, and I don't focus on what I did accomplish. I only fret about I didn't do this, that, and the other thing.
Right, exactly.
So,
but
it's about changing your mindset as well.
But Julie, you know, to your credit, Julie is very good. You're very good at being, gosh, what's the word? Pragmatic and organized and like A to Z thinking. Julie is the turtle, I'm the hare. That's why we make such a good pair on our show. Which I should mention before I forget, be sure to like and subscribe. We have reached 100 subscribers. We're so excited about that. Thank you so much. And again, we're learning. It's a learning process. And we so love what we're doing. So be sure to like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Hit the thumbs up and ring the bell so you know when future videos are going to be seen. But in any event, getting back to this, Julie is very good at being pragmatic and planning and doing. And Julie, just for a minute here, do you want to show them your Martha Stewart book?
So
this is so fantastic. Her
Martha Stewart, as I've mentioned in previous videos, is one of my idols because everything she does is perfect. So Linda bought me this beautiful organizer planner for the year, and I love these colors.
Gorgeous colors.
And so in it, the first thing, so it's month by month, each one's color coded.
Right.
So here's my February plan. I don't
know
if you can
Is this
see
woman
it.
organized?
So one of the things I do, social media is super important in my wedding business. So I outlined everything I was going to post this month. So that way I don't waste time in the morning thinking, what am I gonna plan? What should I say? Yada, yada. I took 20 minutes one random Sunday and I just wrote out everything. Like,
that's so great.
Post a trend, post a client review, post a real bride, post another review, post a picture of a headpiece, talk about a publication, put a photo tip, all these things. And so by planning it out like this in February, I can just repeat it in March.
It's so great.
So it's kind of like a one and done.
And also, Martha does a nice like tip up here.
Yes. So this organizer, I never used to use an organizer. So we're just gonna flip over to March.
And I haven't filled the beginning how they say March goals. Show them that page.
We're gonna go to March.
So awesome.
March goals. So then you can write your goals for the month, which really helps. And again, I remind you, don't make them very specific. Yes. Don't make them super general, like I'm going to lose weight. Say, in March, I'm going to lose 2.5 pounds. That's specific and attainable.
Exactly.
Then you've got your, 30-day calendar. But then you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Week at a glance.
Week at a glance.
Right.
So you can like put your daily goals.
Exactly.
And then it has, if you have 5 minutes, and it gives you suggestions.
Really? Where?
Yes.
Oh,
so
I love that.
If you have 5 minutes, rearrange the spice drawer. My
spice
drawer
I didn't
could
see
use
that. That's so awesome.
Purge your refrigerator. For me, it's the freezer. I put everything in the freezer, so I need to purge my freezer. If you have 10 minutes, do your next day meal prep. Well, I'll probably never do that because I hate that. Explore new recipes. Go through your freezer and make a plan to use items near their end date. That's a very good plan because I put everything in the freezer and sometimes I forget to label it. And then I'm like, what is this?
That's
so hard as a rock. Who knows what? So it gives you just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. 1 or 2 suggestions.
So
it is very handy.
What are those
then
quotes?
at the beginning of the month on the on the weekly page, begin garden cleanup, which matters to me because I'm obsessive about the garden and the gardener. Okay, cut back ornamental grasses. Not really a problem in LA. Rake dead leaves from the beds, compost pile.
Love that.
Once the last frost has passed, remove coverings from the shrubs and container plants. So, it's got a little East Coast bent, but that's okay.
That. Well, a lot of our viewers are in the Midwest.
Yes, they are. And then they have other suggestions. Clear the decks in the living room. Spend a few minutes each day clearing off the coffee table of things that don't belong. That I could use every day. Because there's always something that finds its way to the coffee table. And then they give you some decorating suggestions.
I mean, it's such a great. Leave it to Martha Stewart.
Yeah, and then, the following week, you've got new tips.
Right, exactly. So you have your goals at the beginning, your month at a glance, and week at a glance. Now, for those of you, you can get this on Amazon.
Yeah.
But if you don't specifically have the Martha Stewart organizer, I think, Julie, you pointed out some great ideas to do. Look at your month as a whole. So we're calling our video, of course, it's March Motivation.
Yes.
Take out your month at a glance calendar. Julie does it for her Instagram, but you may want to do it for your hobbies, for the bills you have to pay. I like to jot down in my month at a glance, like I know the first of the month, health insurance is due, car insurance, whatever bills, the housekeeper, et cetera, et cetera. So think in those terms. It's a good way to reach your goals.
Organize.
Because it's so easy to
forget.
And also for me, where I struggle, I'm thinking, oh gosh, it's March 1. What have I accomplished? Well, I've accomplished a lot.
You can go back and look and
exactly.
see what you did.
And pat yourself on the back, even by staying on track with your food plan, with your walking. For me, it's been very...
drinking water.
You're drinking 8, you know, whatever your personal, like maybe your priority is not losing weight. Well, for mine, as you guys know, with my keto journey, that has been a big focus for me. With Julie, it's her business, her bridal veil. You are like so busy now, Julie.
It's wedding season,
oh my goodness.
So engagement season morphs into wedding season.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm super busy. So I have to write things down.
Absolutely.
Because not only do I have to do my social media, I have to see clients, I have to search fabrics, and I have to actually make the product myself. It's a lot. It's keep organized, and then I have to, you know, do my family.
But Julie, but tell them where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Julie Harris Designs, on Pinterest at Julie Harris Designs, the LA bridal veil expert, and at julieharrisdesigns.com.
And of course, here at 50 Going on 30. We
50.
have the links below. But Julie does the most incredible headpiece. I'm wearing one. Look at this. Is one of Julie's creations. This is her headpiece. I typically will wear one to go with my sweater. I mean, Julie is the best on that. So, excellent, excellent tip. Julie is great at this. I mean, see, I think more on my feet. I'm a photographer. I go on location. Julie is good at planning. So this is so important. We're so glad.
I love a planner.
Oh,
and
it's great.
Breaking things down into smaller chunks that are manageable is really, really helpful.
Right. So and also going back to the Dale Carnegie quote, today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. By taking the baby steps, it keeps you out of that worry. For me, because I can start, you know, we all do.
Yeah.
The other thing too, Julie, you mentioned you're a perfectionist. And one of my mentors was Jocelyn Brando, who got me going in my photography career. She had a journal workshop back in the 80s. And when I started my career in photography, she was one of the first celebrities I photographed, and she was my mentor, and I miss Jocelyn. She died in 2005. She was Marlon Brando's older sister, Jocelyn Brando. And she had a saying, and that was, perfectionism leads to procrastination, which leads to paralysis.
So true.
So true, because in breaking that down, if you're too much of a perfectionist, then what happens is, like for me, I start procrastinating because it's overwhelming.
Right.
Like example, what we talked about, 5 minutes, clean out the spice drawer. But for me, being a little OCD, if I have to break it down, and what about this and what about that? The overthinking and the spin.
Don't overthink.
Don't overthink.
Overthinking
absolutely
is the death of progress.
And then if you just like clean off the kitchen counter, do your dishes, those are things we don't overthink.
Right.
But getting out of that perfectionist thinking, because it's progress over perfection.
Yes, absolutely. And reward yourself for the baby steps you accomplish, because you know, I see so often with other people that I try to inspire other women who have full-time jobs but want to do this creative activity on the side. And they're waiting for the perfect moment. Well, there is no perfect moment.
Right.
The perfect moment is the moment you start. So
Absolutely.
start and take whatever steps you can accomplish that day. Just that day. If it's like coming up with a business name or starting your Instagram account or something. Just one little thing, and then build on that. Don't wait till you can accomplish 7 big things and boom, there's a giant payoff. That's, that's not practical or sustainable. And that's not how things really happen.
And it never works.
No.
Because then, see, I want to just segue into this now. This is something that I just read about. It's called destination addiction. And in my lifetime, have you ever heard of destination addiction?
When Linda told me the quote, I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought it had to do with travel.
Well, no. Well, what it is, and I am so guilty of this, destination addiction is an idea that somewhere in the future, you'll be happy. When I go on this vacation, when I meet this partner, when I buy this car, when I, let's see, what else? Meet this goal in terms of my career. Like I used to think, oh, my first magazine cover, then I'll be happy. When I get down to this weight, then I'll be happy. It's that constant reaching out in the future and not allowing yourself to be happy now.
In the present.
Like, you know, Ram Dass, Be Here Now. My parents had that book on their coffee table when I was a little girl, Ram Dass, Be Here Now. And I am so guilty of this, Julie, because it's like, oh, when I get down to this weight, then I'll buy this outfit and this will be perfect and this day will happen. And
it never happens.
And it doesn't happen because I find, like now I'm happy. I'm with Julie, we're recording, we're happy. It's being present in the moment. Because you don't know what life's going to bring.
No.
Okay? No. And it's called destination addiction. And you can Google that. I'll put some links below. And the other thing too, some people have travel addiction where they're only happy. I have a good friend, I won't mention who. She only is happy when she's traveling. Now, we all love to travel.
I love to travel.
We love to travel. There's, you know, it's finding that balance between home, career, partner, and being happy and satisfied with what you have right now. Because you know what? That day may not ever come. That goal may not ever happen. So enjoy that journey. Enjoy the process.
And then just think how disappointed you'll be when you get to the goal. And then life is not miraculously perfect.
Right.
So I've always been heavy, and there was a time when I got down to a size 6. And I was very slender, and everyone just congratulated me, like, you know, you thought I just grew a new personality, and I was suddenly perfect as long as I was the size 6, which did not last. So in my head, I thought, well, once this happens, my life will be perfect. I will have the perfect boyfriend. None of that happened. My life was the same life I had. I did not have any boyfriend. It didn't magically work. And I remember saying to my sister, I did everything, and now I'm thin. And like, why, you know, we'd go to bars, clubs, whatever. I'm like, why aren't men talking to me? You know, I was still I was Julie. And I was a different looking version of Julie, and I was really happy with more clothes because I love clothes. But did my life magically change? No, it did not.
Right.
When did I meet my husband? Not when I was like miraculously thin and beautiful. I met him when the time was right.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
It just happened.
You know what? And the funny thing too, even that term or that idea of a New Year's resolution, you can make a new resolution any day of the year or any time you want.
Monday motivation.
Like this is March, and it's like, hey.
Anything.
And also the other thing, Marsha Mason, who I love, the actress, she's so great from The Goodbye Girl. She was married to Neil Simon, and she was in, you know, she was a big actress back in the day in the 80s, and now she's on Grace and Frankie. She plays Arlene, and I've been, you know, watching a lot of that lately. And I listened to a podcast she did the other day, and she said, you know what? Be grateful. At the end of the day, be grateful for your bed. Be grateful you're in a bed. Be grateful you own a bed. Be grateful you're taking a breath. You know, be grateful when you wake up in the morning that you're alive and you feel good. Live in gratitude no matter what your circumstances. And I know now, you know, with the pandemic, with COVID, thank God now we have the vaccines coming in. But it was a good lesson. I mean, for you know, we've talked about this in other episodes, that just in taking pause and regrouping, you know, regardless. And I know financially,
with the endless spinning of more.
Exactly. You know, financially people are having their ups and downs and et cetera, et cetera. But for me, it was a great time to take pause and regroup. And I try to
learn
do
to
that
be with yourself.
Exactly.
Appreciate your family. Appreciate the little things. I remember the day I was so excited to go to Trader Joe's and buy a bouquet of flowers because I'd been in the house for so long and I missed buying flowers. And I had to send my husband a photo of the floral display and say, guess where I am and guess what I'm buying. And it really meant so much to me. Just to buy a bouquet of flowers for $7.99. I was like thrilled.
And we did an episode, I'll put the link below. Remember when we went to the Aroma Cafe, we're lunch and coffee.
Oh, we were so
did that. That
thrilled
was
to
a
be
year ago.
out.
We were so
thrilled to
happy
be out on the patio and in a restaurant.
And it's so great.
Yes.
I mean, I'm in a lot of gratitude today. I'll tell you, this has been, you know, oh, before I go on with that, this has been a great episode. I hope we hope you're getting a lot out of it, because Julie and I are very authentic women, and you know, our channel is meant to be talk show style. You know, we're not slick YouTubers. We're here for you. We have built a 50 going on 30 community. We have a lot of new men. And men. And we have our Facebook group. I'll put the link below. And it's just to we want you at any age to feel vibrant and alive and full of bloom. And as we've talked about, it's a mindset.
The most of it.
Absolutely. It's about no matter what your age. Because you can be any age and have stinking thinking. But to be of a certain age and feel good and full of life and youth and vibrancy is so great. Which now leads me to the new issue of AARP magazine. Look at this gorgeous guy. Come on, George Clooney. I mean, could he be any more gorgeous? He's 59, and I love AARP magazine. I'm a member of AARP. And when I first turned a certain age, and when I started getting it, it was like, oh, God. But there's so many helpful hints, money. They have a section about one-day vacations, and there's a wonderful article in here this month about a lady by the name of Norma Kamali, one of my all-time favorite designers. I went to her store.
Cute stuff.
She was very popular in the 80s and 90s. And there's an article, The A-List, and she talks about being flexible. This is her quote: being flexible is critical for both the body and the mind. When you're flexible, you're able to adjust to new challenges.
Yes. Being
flexible. When you're inflexible, you break. And she's 75 years old, and she also mentions in this article.
Show her fabulous style again.
I mean, look at her, Norma Kamali.
Okay.
I own some of her
the
pieces.
Leopard print.
I mean, look at this woman. She's fabulous.
Fashion at every age.
And she talks about that she got married and divorced at a young age, but at 65, she met the love of her life. So, great article. Norma Kamali, AARP magazine, hunky George Clooney. I adore you. You're so handsome. And I love this magazine. Is there anything else we need to share?
I would like to share this book, and it's called A Year of Positive Thinking by Cindy Spiegel, Daily Inspiration, Wisdom, and Courage. I love this book. So in it are little quotes for the entire year.
How awesome is that?
Yes, 365, and then you can just go back to January 1st.
And we can get that on Amazon, right?
Yes, you can get it on Amazon.
Awesome book.
And so,
and it matches your date book. How cool is that?
It's got all my favorite colors. So I just want to share today's quote.
Yes.
So it's February 25th. Every single moment matters. Every moment matters, not just the big ones, but also the small ones, the seemingly irrelevant ones and the quiet ones. All of these moments add up to a life well lived. Be in the moment. Don't take the presumably unimportant moments for granted. Look for them and treasure them instead. Listen for the words unspoken. Notice the quick glance, feel the soft touch, the long-held hugs, the sadness, the graciousness, the in-between. The magical sweet spots between tiny and massive moments are your life. Don't forget to pay attention to them. And in the end, this is all we really have. I mean, isn't that great?
Beautiful. That's perfect.
That's such a beautiful quote.
That's perfect. So I think that's a nice way to end. I think we had a lovely episode today, Julie.
So stay motivated.
Absolutely.
Set your goals. Appreciate everything, even the simplest things. Take baby steps and live in
let go of perfectionism. Progress over perfection.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
March
you so
Motivation.
much.
You'll see us next week, a new episode. And Julie and I are off to lunch. We are so excited.
Yes.
Okay. 50 going on 30. It's a mindset, not a number. Bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe, like, check the links. Bye-bye.